Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video. So today I wanted to do something a little bit more fun. So today I'm going to go over my top 10 favorite mounts that we can get in Final Fantasy XIV as of December of 2025. So my decisions on which mount was my favorite is based off the look, the color scheme, and of course the music that plays with it. I do have one honorable mention, and they're on my first hotbar so you guys cannot see which ones that I have chosen. So we're going to go from my least favorite to my number one favorite mount of the 10 that I've chosen. So my number 10 is going to be the Black Panther, which is the Battle Panther, which has the red body armor. So this is 300 duties with a Dark Knight. Alright, so you have to be the Dark Knight, and you have to do at least 300. So you have to do with the bonus if you're doing your roulettes, but you can do this unsynced, or you guys can do this synced. Probably the fastest way would be the Holocarnassus duty, the normal mode, and you can bring other tanks with you. Now, as you can tell, the music is generic, which is unfortunate, and that's why points were taken off for that. But the fact that it is red and black, one of my favorite color combinations, is why it is on my list. Plus, Dark Knight was one of my favorite tanks when they reworked it to not drain your MP when it used the dark side and all that. So that is going to be number 10 on my list. Coming at number 9 is going to be the Cerberus. Now, the reason why this is number 9 is because the fact that you have to do Delubrum Reginae Savage in order to get this mount. It's a one and done type achievement mount, so once you're done, you don't have to worry about it ever again. So basically, this is how you get it. And it's basically going to be the generic music from Bozja, as you can hear. I really wish that it would have like a collar, like the change to the collar in your hands, instead of you just, pointing as you are basically moving your mount, as you can probably see. I just wish we had a chain tied to it. But other than that, this basically was a carry for me. I ended up dying at my last death at the final boss, but unlike Bardessian Arsenal, you don't get kicked out. You still can get your mount from basically being dead the whole time. So I got carried and I got lucky, and I never went back in because I had no other reason to get the other achievement, which was doing it 10 more times. Alright, so Cerberus is on number 9 just because the fact that it took me too long to actually acquire it. Coming at number 8, the other Savage Duty, which was Bardessian Arsenal. So Ozma is a one and done achievement mount. As you can see, when it's on the ground, it turns into an orb. In the sky, it turns it into a cube, and underwater, it will turn into a triangle. The many forms it actually takes during the duty. And if you can tell, it actually shows you the Bardessian Arsenal and Nydados in its reflection. So if you died during the Bardessian Arsenal, you get kicked out, which means that you don't get your mount, unfortunately. The fact is that this is pretty easy because the Discord that actually does the runs knows how to do it, and they do it pretty flawlessly. There is a way that you can still die and get re-raised, so you're not exactly going to lose your mount if you die. Is that if you lose during Ozma, he kicks you out. So you can die beforehand, but you cannot die during the fight itself. So because the music is generic music instead of like Hydados or the Bardessian Arsenal itself, that's why it's pretty low on my ranking. But other than that, it's pretty easy to get, and if you need to get it, you guys can check out the Discord. That will help you if they end up running it. Okay, so that's why it's number 8 on my list. Coming at number 7 is going to be Titan. So this is going to be from Titan Extreme. The final phase music is what plays, which is one of my favorites. It's probably the most goated music in A Realm Reborn. So unfortunately, the color scheme is brown, which is the reason why it's on number 7 on my list, and the music just couldn't carry it enough up the list because, well, the other mounts are a little bit more colorful in reasons why. So that is going to be number 7 on my list of favorite mounts. So number 6 on my list is going to be the Centurio Tiger. This little puppy, if I go into my achievements, I still have it under relevant. To get this, you need to do bring your A game 5 and bring your S game 5. Basically, the S game 5 is 2000 S ranks, doesn't matter which expansion, and I believe the A ranks is like 3 to 5000. I don't remember because I don't really have it on here. So basically, that is where you get your Centurio Tiger. This is the first hunt mount that you actually can get, and it has basic generic music. So it's basically the tigers that you'll see in Yantia. Alright, the reason why this is high up on my list because of the fact that it took me forever to get it. I wasn't doing the hunt back then because I had PlayStation 4, and the load times weren't giving me the A ranks, so I wasn't able to do the hunt train as much. So thanks to the PS5 that I'm using, I was able to get those easy peasy. So thanks to the Hunt Discord, as well as the link show that I was in to help get this mount. And that is why it's number 6 on my list. Coming at number 5 is going to be Tsukiyomi's Lunar Wolf. Now this little puppy is the reason why I switched to Samurai back in Stormblood, because I was a Dragoon, and Dragoon's jumps were really laggy. Well, not really laggy, but their animations were so poor that I couldn't do Dark Blade, Bright Blade, and all that, so I switched over to Samurai. So Tsukiyomi's mount is basically the last phase music after she comes back from her ad phase. This sucker definitely was a grind to get, but because of the color scheme of purple, gold, black, and white is the reason why it's ranked so high, and the music is just a banger. Nowadays, you can do Tsukiyomi Extreme solo. Coming at number 4, Rubicante. So Rubicante was one of my favorite fights in Endwalker. It's because the fight was just so easy. He was basically a standing striking dummy when he did his wheel mechanic. So yeah, this mount is pure red, besides a little blue and purple on the wings, and the music is basically the whole fight. This doesn't change regardless of what phase that you're in. The only thing that I had a problem with this fight was the flame rake attack, which was basically that little wheel that he spins in the middle. Other than that, this whole fight was pretty much easy to do. Because he's a striking dummy, you can unsync this with a group of people pretty easily. So the music, because it's red and plus fire and all that, just made it the top 4 on my list of favorite mounts. And of course, my favorite fight in Endwalker itself. Coming at number 3, and this was really hard to pick, but it's going to be the Landerwolf, the ultimate mount from Shadowbringers, from the Grievers. It has the Shadowbringers theme song for the music. And once I saw this during the 5.5 light letter, where they basically showed you the ultimate mount, I knew I had to have it. The last mount that I needed to get this was the Diamond Weapon. The Emerald Weapon, which was the worst fight, I ended up getting on 86 on my first kill. Talk about a good reward for actually doing the fight. So yeah, the Landerwolf is huge. It's not a good idea to use it during the hunt, but it's definitely going to be on my top 3 list for the favorite mount. Coming in at number 2, the Rings of Resolve from Dawntrail. Now the reason why I love this because the fact is that the music is a banger, the wings are dark with a tail and a little bit of a crown, and it just looks like just a badass thing of all the wing mounts that we've seen so far. So I really liked the Extreme Forever Keep because the fact is it was more like a puzzle mechanic more than a base mechanic type fight like Valor Commanda. So ultimately this was the only mount that I really wanted to get of all other mounts so far in Dawntrail. Once we know what the ultimate mount is going to be, fingers crossed it's Bahamut, I might go for the rest of them, but I might just hold off until the next expansion to come back and have these done unsynced. So because of the music and because of the look of the wings, it is going to make my number 2 on my top 10 list. And now for the number 1 mount on my list, and it might actually surprise you. So my top favorite mount of all time is going to be the best boy himself, Torgal. Of course it's going to be Torgal. Why would it be anybody else? And if you're thinking, why not Bahamut? Well, that's not the Bahamut that I love. That's not Final Fantasy XIV Bahamut. That was what, Final Fantasy VI Bahamut? So yeah. He's not even on my top 10. I just didn't like it, personally. Even though I wanted it, it still wasn't my favorite. So Torgal's music is from the fight in Final Fantasy XVI, I believe when he turns into Ifrit, which is the best, one of the best music scores in Final Fantasy XVI, because Soken is a genius. And of course, he does have a pet emote when you actually acquire him. Fortunately, the Final Fantasy XVI event is only going to be up every once in a while, so if you're trying to get Torgal, you're going to have to wait until the 16 event comes back around. And also, he turns into Fenrir in Final Fantasy 16 because he was a part of the Shiva's Dominant as the lore. So that is how you guys get Torgal, and it is my number 1 favorite mount in Final Fantasy 14 as of 2025. And the honorable mention is going to be Fenrir of course, because like I said, I love wolves. And I think this was a 1 million MGP mount or 100,000. I don't remember, but yeah. Has generic music instead of having like Snow Cloak or whatever, which probably would have been better. But the particle effects on his paws actually are pretty cool. But yeah, Fenrir is going to be my honorable mention as my 11th favorite. Alright guys, so sign off in the comment section down below. What is your favorite mount that you have, or just your favorite mount in general in Final Fantasy XIV? Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the rest of my channel for more Final Fantasy XIV content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV content and help with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys want to support my channel even further, consider becoming a YouTube member, Patreon supporter, or help me on Ko-Fi. The links for those will be in the description down below, as well as my Discord. And an extra special shout out to the members on screen. So until next time, may you forever walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut, and always remember to keep forging